Hi, everyone. We're still a couple of minutes away from starting, but I did want to ask if you can see and hear me, if the audio and visual is okay. Would you give me a thumbs up or type 5 by 5 if you don't know how to use, the emoticons, and just let me know that you can hear me as well as see me? Okay, Julie can see me. Good job. That's half the battle, even if one does. As I said, I've been doing these meditations for 2 years now. And all of a sudden this month, YouTube decided that they won't let me use my Safari browser. I had to download Google Chrome quickly. So shenanigans. Okay. Thank you, C. Smith. Thank you, Tess. Okay. If you don't mind me jostling the camera because it's just my built-in MacBook camera, I will let you guys see where uh, Sparkle is sleeping and kind of already getting in on the energy game with me. Okay, so let me see if I can put it down. Now, can you see her? Yeah, she moved out of the little bed she was in, got too warm, but she insists on being in the same room with me. She's still, very much a baby, and I want to encourage that. Like I said, I haven't had a lap cat that enjoyed being held since Chloe passed away. Alieska liked to be near me, and she liked to sleep on the bed by me, but she didn't like to be held and carried. So I haven't had a cat I could carry around that was happy about it in over a year. This has been really nice to have the new baby be that. I think Chloe had something to do with me finding her because I wasn't planning to look. I really wasn't. So, anyway, now here she is. So, we're getting ready to start our meditation, and I just want to welcome everybody. We have plenty of people here to energetically do the work we want to do today. If it is your first time joining us, I want to welcome you and just kind of give you a heads up that this meditation may not proceed in the way that you normally would anticipate a meditation to proceed. We view meditation as focused thought, focused energy. And so, for that purpose, we'll do some breath work. We'll align our chakras. We will do some things you might have expected, but I'm not going to insist people are in the lotus position, or you can close your eyes, leave them open. Some people just want to hear my voice as I go through. You'll notice we do a lot of preparation work for our energy because it is very important not to let that energy be vulnerable to being transmuted or used in other ways. So, a big part of this meditation, which will last probably under a half hour, is kind of my usual goal. A lot of it is getting our energy protected and set up, both for ourselves and what we donate to the universe. So, this meditation is going to be a non denominational effort, just so you know. There are people from numerous different walks of faith that join us, and some just feel like they align spiritually. Some want to participate because they believe in energy work. It's fine. I will not have, well, I have a faith of my own that's personal. I will try not to impose it on you. If I slip and say a word or use a phrase that doesn't jive with what you believe, please just disregard it. It's not intentional. I'm not trying to, in some subtle way, sway you away from whatever your particular faith walk and path is. I respect any peaceful faith path, period. Respect it. I may not follow it myself, but I do give it respect. And there's lots of ways to contribute beautiful energy to the universe. Now, our meditation this month, our primary focus is going to be on clarity, because it seems to me that that is a gift that we get as we wake up, that we want to encourage and grow within ourselves, that clarity, that seeing things for what they are. I know that frequently I just say, I am willing to see reality as it is, free of any cloaking, veiling, pixelating that may have happened to it. I am willing to see reality for what it is, and I seek that clarity I have it sometimes with people, with situations. And so I thought, it's a really good topic because we want clarity for what's going on in the world, in our lives, in our hearts, this realm, for everything. I thought it'd be an excellent starting point, jump off point for our meditation. So once we do our uh, introductory work here, that will be our primary focus. So again, welcome. And we do honor free will. We won't impose anything we say or try to manifest on anybody that's not willing to have those intentions on themselves. Absolutely. And again, participate as you feel led. If you want to, if I mention, okay, for the next couple of minutes, we're going to try to consider or envision this situation. If it doesn't, if it doesn't seem appropriate to you, just sit it out. But again, I just appreciate your energy here. Now, not all energy is invited or welcome. So let's get into that. We want to, all those who join our meditation with good intent, we want everybody that does that to be protected from evil or negativity in any form before, during, or after this meditation. Now, there is a chance that there has been someone or something that has decided to give us some negative energy or try to interrupt what we're doing or, distract us, what have you. So we're going to quickly not give them too much energy, or that energy, not too much of our attention. But I would just like, if this feels right to you, join me in visualizing us just packing up any negative emotions that were in us, on us, around us, or are being sent to us. And we have learned over time to say that any negative energy that's being sent to us currently or from the future or the past. So in all, we want to encapsulate that negativity. And I am just going to send it to the creator of all creators, top guy. He can delegate, or she can, or they can. We'll use a neutral pronoun, to be transmuted and never used in or available as a negative energy form on this plane of existence again. Incrementally, my goal is to help do my little part to make this world go from dark to light. And we'll discuss that a little more as we get into the meditation, because I had a recent conversation that was I'm not trying to make a pun here, enlightening, that I wanted to share a thought with you. And again, if it's one that makes sense to you, you can run with it just like I'm going to. Okay, so let's picture that negative energy. Don't think there's much, but if there is, it's leaving here in 3, 2, 1. Off to source it goes. It starts to sparkle. And we'll let that be transmuted. Now, you are welcome to participate here just in neutrality. Absolutely. Your scientific dispatchment, curiosity, those type of participations, or just, joining us is fine. It's fine. We just want to say that negative energy was not and never will be invited to be part of this. And it's not going to be allowed to impact our direction, our focus, and our own unique selves. So any positive intention that's stated in our meditation, we intend that it never be used, converted, or transmuted to other purposes or evil ever, ever. So any energy you donate right now is being dedicated in perpetuity forever to what you knowingly, willingly, and expressly are giving it to. So we want that energy to be protected now and evermore. Now, we intend that the energy of love and light that we give in this meditation be bestowed in equal measure on those of us who are give it, so that we feel, Source's love, and know that our meditation will have made an impact, a positive impact on our world. In other words, may our personal resources of light and love fill even faster than we send it out. This is part of learning how to be a conduit of energy so that you don't get depleted. So you can, without being depleted or thinking it's an overwhelming task, you can say, I send love out to anyone in the world that wants it, because I'm doing it as a conduit from a limitless resource, not from my own finite resources. I want to, in love, also donate some of that, but I know it's going to be refilled from that limitless reserve of light and love, even faster than I can give it out. So there's just no worry about being depleted. As such, as you participate today and finish up this meditation, you should actually feel energized. You should feel like you have come away with a gift, an energetic gift for yourself, as well as what you've tried to give to others. That's our intent. Okay. Now, let's do some readiness exercises. First of all, your posture. Unless you're laying out on the ground, and I do have one or two people that do say that they do grounding and do these meditations just listening to my voice only, and they lay flat on the ground to align their chakras, because you don't have to be upright to be aligned. Try to have your posture be as straight as possible so that your chakras, which extend from above your head down through the core of your being here, your physical being, they're lined up so that energy flows easily, so that there's no kinks in the conduits, in that conduit of energy. And if there are, because you are unable to sit up, I have one friend that's got severe curvature of the spine, just rest in assurance that our loving creator can work around any obstacles like that. So if you're able to and you can, please do so, but don't let it prevent you from participating, because you know what? If energy has to be sent down it will be. It will be. But we're going to make it as easy on ourselves to receive and give that energy as possible. So again, that posture check. Now, we're doing this at this meditation here on the East Coast. It's mid-afternoon. In England, it's evening, and it's wee hours of the morning if anybody joins us, and occasionally they do, from Australia, New Zealand, etc. So there's lots of different time zones going on. My point being that we are conducting our regular lives before we take a little time out to do this meditation. So that means that we may be coming into this with some stress, some problems, some issues that we're dealing with in regular life. Maybe just that to-do list that just gets doesn't seem to get anything off of it. Let's take a look and do a stress check for our bodies to see if, again, our bodies are ready to donate energy for this. So an easy, fast stress test is to check your shoulders. As you get stressed, your shoulders will go up, 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 up. So take a minute, and even if they're already down, push them down even farther. You should feel a nice little stretch in here. It should feel really, really good. Okay. When I used to teach, I would go around the room when there was a test, and I would just put hands on shoulders when I'd see them all up and let the kids just relax. And as a grandma, I could get away with it. You have to be careful with, but that was a neutral thing. And again, the kids knew if there was ever anything that we were comfortable with, just let me know, we'd stop. But they enjoyed it, that shoulders down. Okay, now we're going to do a little quick breath work to rid ourselves of any residual negative energy that has tried to cling to us or just hasn't cleared out as fast as we wanted. Okay, so we're going to do 3 breaths in and out. We'll breathe in. I do it through the nose. If that's not possible, breathe in through your mouth. It doesn't matter. What's important is what you visualize, that you visualize what's coming in as these breaths are worked on, that the air coming in is pure and sparkling and just so healthy and good for you, and that it is able to sweep away any remaining flecks of negativity that may have remained in you. Now, if you're adept at energy clearing like that, and that's really some of the first steps you do in energy clearing, your first breath out may contain every bit of negativity that you needed to release. Or maybe you already did it when we did our real quick energy burst to source with negativity. So you're going to be picturing, but if you feel like there might be a little negativity that you are working to release and be free of, feel free to visualize the breath coming out as being a little dingy. Okay? And the first breath out may be dingy. The second one is going to be clearer as you do this. And by the third breath, our intention is that what you exhale will be as sparkling and clear as what went in. Again, just cleaning that conduit, just cleaning that pipe. By the way, I just saw, got to go to the other side here. I just saw what I think is a fairy joining us. So if you saw that, oh well, it does happen. It does happen. It's not, usual for me to see them in the process here. Sometimes I'll see something out of the corner of my eye, but that one I saw right in there. So, anyway, let's get to those breaths. We don't want to be distracted. If we're attracting beautiful, sweet little energy, that's great. That's fine. They're welcome. I just let our loving creator vet any energy that comes in after I set my protections in place. So that's why I actually do have quite a few visitors that look like orbs or wisps or fairies or things like that because they get vetted and they're welcome. Okay, first breath in. You're going to do some visualizing. In, sparkling and clear and clean and crisp, and out, any dinginess that's going. Ready? In. Hold for a couple of seconds and out. And I picture that breath coming out like they do clouds in cartoons, you know, those white clouds like that, only it's a little dingy. Second breath in. Ready? Hold and out. Starting to sparkle. Third breath in should be as sweet and clear and crisp going in as out. Ready? In. And hold and out. Okay, our shoulders are down, our posture's straight, our energy's protected. We have welcomed replacement energy to come in faster than we can send it out. We are ready to begin. As I said in the early moments of this video, the purpose of this, our main focus this month, is on clarity. And so we're going to look at personal clarity and then situational clarity and then reality clarity. Okay. So personal clarity, let's talk about that for a minute. That is when you know that you know that you know, or you have those aha moments. Clarity is knowing that a truth and just absolute certainty that this is truth. This is an accurate observation. It may not make sense, but it is truth. And it's very clear to you. Clarity means clear. So we are seeking for ourselves that clarity of knowing around us and within us what is going on in our world, welcoming more of those aha moments where we learn, grow, set aside programming, and move on with more truth and light and love and the ability to garner and embody the things we want to. I'm not naturally as patient as I can intentionally be. I'm not naturally as kind as I can be with intention. I had that clarity that these are traits I want to have, and I want to have them in abundance and not have them come and go. Patience and kindness. And so once I had that clarity that this is a trait I want to have, then I said, I want to embody this full time, always. And when it doesn't come to me naturally, I want it to come from me intentionally. And as you have that focus, or as I did with that clarity, for me, those were the two things, kindness and patience. As I said, I want to embody that 24/7, 365. And when it doesn't come naturally, I want to do it intentionally. That intention, that clarity, I knew I was going to be able to do it or do it better every time I did it because that was my intention. That was a moment of clarity for me. You may have had other moments of clarity in your life, a relationship that all of a sudden one thing is said or one situation is survived and you go, enough. You may have had clarity of you've got another relationship that you go, I want more of this. This is good for me. This person is good for me. This situation, this whatever it might be, this is good for me. I want more of this. Clarity, just that knowing, and then having the will and ability to act and live on that knowing. Now, that's how I view clarity. For a minute, I'd like you to I don't want to have my talk get in the way of your thoughts and your emotions and your experiences. So take a minute, close your eyes if you wish, and think of a time, maybe some of my moments of clarity kind of sparked one for you. A time when you said, enough. Another time when you said, this is good for me. I want more of this. or you said, I want to be more like this, or do this more often, or do this better. So think of those clarity moments for your and grab a couple of them, hold them into your heart and say, yes, these were moments of clarity and I want more of them. So we're going to take a second for that. Okay, that was our personal clarity element to this meditative focus. Now let's look at situations and the world around us. Okay, we have things going on politically in our communities, in our economy, etc. And if you feel like I do, that I want to have clarity, I want to see beyond the programming attempts that are made by assorted media. I want to see past any look here, not there efforts that are made. I want clarity. I want it. I want to get to that point of knowing. It would be nice to have trustworthy sources for that knowing, but when I don't, I still want clarity about it. I absolutely want clarity. There are times nowadays, if I see a headline, I realize this is a very low vibration, fear mongering event or article or perspective, and I don't want that. I want to kind of know about the event, in some detail, but I'm not going to waste my energy. There's times I use some of the uh, AI programs that are out there, Grok, or there's one on my uh, another one I use, and just say, please summarize this for me. I don't trust them to do a complete summary, but sometimes, because there's times they're very much only as good as the input they've had. But again, instead of listening to a 90-minute rambling monologue or diatribe or conversation, I can sometimes get the high points, especially if I know they're touching on a subject that's kind of negative. There was a 39-minute, here's an example just from today. I came across an audio file, 39 minutes, that was discussing the Maryland man situation, Maryland, if I didn't say it right, and also another element. And I thought, I don't want to give 39 minutes to this audio file. So I did ask for a summary on it. And I knew what topics were covered on it. And then I could decide then if I wanted to go in more detail. So again, that clarity of situations. We want to have that knowing of this is a situation I want more of, I don't need as much of. This is a situation where they are trying to elicit this emotion and I don't want to participate. This is a situation where they're trying to direct our paths. We've been through with the pandemic, especially, we saw that. It was fear this, do that, don't do this, walk this way. We saw that. And a lot of us said, no, we've got that clarity now that we want to choose our path, that we want to look at situations around us in our economies, our countries, etc., and see them for what they are. And see those who talk about or represent those situations with clarity. Okay. And that's not, we'd like to have our heroes. We would. And there's very few that actually would qualify as such. And that's a moment of clarity that I had. Stop looking for heroes. You're going to have to be the hero you want to be and live a life that you're proud of and do work that you're proud of. And again, I've said numerous times, and I'll say again because it's been a while since I've said it, one of the reasons I don't sponsor products or, try to sell you precious metals or things like that is because at this point in my life, okay, first of all, I've got the blessing of knowing that I have enough. Even if I don't have a lot, I have enough. And the other thing is I want to really, at some point when I transition, I want to hear, well finished, Laura, well finished. And since I don't require what would come my way from doing those sponsorships or what have you, but just simply saying, hey, I'm going to speak my truth, do it the best I can, and hopefully it'll resonate with people or help them or inspire them or make them a little more capable to speak up and add their voice to mine. That's enough. That's enough. I don't need to have super profits out of the endeavor. I'm not raising kids anymore. Nobody's going to college on my dime. I can do this way. And again, with a goal of hearing, well finished. So those are some of the situational clarities that you may have a possibility to, but especially I would encourage you with all the efforts made to have us feel certain things or fear certain things or be anxious about things, have those moments of clarity of saying, nope, I choose not to participate in this, or I'm not going to give energy to that. Those are those moments of clarity. Now, as far as our reality clarity, I don't claim to know what our world, the limits of what our world is, or where it goes, or what it does. I mean, I kind of think there's beyond an ice wall, there's lots of continents that have been kept from us, and I no longer buy into what I was told that about, well, you can see behind me. While I do have a traditional globe, I've also got the flat Earth one. Okay. Again, shaking off that programming and saying, this makes more sense than that. I don't care if it's the prevailing sentiment. It makes more sense than that. I don't claim to know. I've heard people say that we're in a matrix. It's pixelated. It's if it was, amazingly intricate. I mean, who would have thought that they would have programmed in halitosis, morning breath? But I guess anything's possible. I seek that clarity, though, to see. I am willing to see the pixelation and beyond the pixelation. I am willing to consider that reality is much more or much different than I envision currently or was told when I was younger. And so it's a matter of just welcoming that clarity. What I'm admitting to you is I haven't had a lot of it as far as what our reality is, this realm is. But what I've had, I've welcomed, and I welcome more. And it's that process of saying, I do know, I do have this clarity on this, that there's a lot more to our world than we were led to believe, to this existence, to reality, to whatever. And it's a lot different than we were taught that it was. And I'm open to having all of the obscuring of that information and that knowing. I'm willing to have that be set aside, even if it's shocking. And it may be. I'm sure it'll be surprising. So I wanted to take a minute to mention that to you. You may not be where I'm at, okay, as far as wanting to look at reality in a different way, or even considering that reality is kind of like a cosmic type of thing. But if you are, please, I would encourage you to welcome that clarity into your life. And I intentionally say, I am willing, I think I'm ready, and I know I'm willing to see beyond the veils and constructs and the falseness, to see beyond what I was led to believe, to see what is really true and accurate in there. Now, that leads me to I mentioned I had a conversation. Okay. I don't claim to be a mystical expert. Okay. There is it Newton's third law that energy cannot be destroyed, transmuted but not destroyed? That seems to be a law that works, with practical things as well as spiritual things. That energy, that we are energy, and energy has a frequency, that everything has a frequency. Okay. That we are, and we're often told that the universe seeks balance. Now, what I've recently had some clarity about is we've been programmed to believe that clarity, that balance, my clarity was the balance. We're programmed to believe it has to be a balance of dark and light, of good and evil, of truth and lies. And my clarity moment was, it doesn't necessarily have to be equal in balance. It has to be in harmonious balance. But there is absolutely no reason why our reality, our world, ourselves, why we can't not just move up the continuum of dark to light so that we move past others, but so that everything around us becomes less dark as it becomes more light. that we don't have to have equal. And if you look at some of the Eastern philosophies of like yin and yang, they mention, first of all, when you look at the symbol, it usually is in absolute balance. But if you look at the concept it talks about, it hints that if you go deeper, there's a unity that kind of gets rid of that 50-50 balance. So I would encourage you, I am in the process of saying, I no longer accept that balance means there has to be equal proportions. Harmonious balance can have a lot of light, but still have the capacity to deal with any remaining darkness. It doesn't have to be equal. I think we've been programmed to believe we have to have that equal so that they being evil, could still have that energetic flow and position in our reality. So I no longer accept, I hope I'm making sense to you. I no longer accept that premise that balance has to be equal amounts of dark and light. It does not. It doesn't. It has to be a harmonious balance, but it does not have to be equal. And so that is why when we send our energy, negative energy, we don't send it back to sender. They could reuse it. If we send it to be transmuted with the intention that it's never available in negative form again, we incrementally help make this reality lighter and brighter. And if we reject the programming we had that there has to be, that the balance that the universe seeks, the equilibrium it seeks, is a balance of good and evil. If we say no, harmonious balance doesn't require equal parts. I think that is going to help us make this reality what we'd like it to be, filled with light, safety for little ones, value of life, moving away from some of the archaic and systems of control that have been part of our reality for millennia. So that was my final thought for you about clarity. It's one I'm dealing with, and I really wanted you to consider that. I think it's very important, if you can embrace that concept, if that resonates with you, that we balance. Energetic balance in the universe does not require a 50-50 distribution of good and evil, dark and light. It's fine. We can do this. I don't know. I think of it like, you could have a barbell and you could have one weight here and 3 weights over here. So you don't hold it from the middle to get it to balance, but you can still get it to balance. You can still get a harmonious balance out of that barbell. You're just going to have to move down farther to find that balance point. Well, that concludes what I wanted to share with you today for this video. I thank you so much for your participation. Let's take a minute, though, before we do. Think of a situation in the world or reality or between good and evil, dark and light. Let's take a minute and consider something that you say, I think I'm ready for more clarity on, and you decide what that topic is. Okay, ready? Take a second and think about it. I think I'm ready for more clarity on. I hope you came up with a couple of beautiful, beautiful ideas. Wow. I just saw another. Wow. Okay, if you saw what I saw, tell me where in the, once this recording stops, what moment. We'll let people see it too. Okay. I thank you for your participation. This concludes our meditation for this month on clarity. And if any topic we discussed here, whether it's personal clarity or situational clarity or even reality clarity for our very, realm and existence, I just thank you so much for participating. And I'm going to wait a couple minutes before I stop the video. I have got this video set on live chat replay, but it does take a while to show up. So while I'll keep this in perpetuity for me on YouTube, this meditation, in case you'd like to listen to it again, it does take a little bit for the chat to show up. If I conclude this meditation before you have a chance to finish a comment, please know that you can scoot on over and do it like you do comments on my videos. Okay? So I thank you very much for participating, for being here today. We had more than enough people here to actually make a change in reality around us. So I thank you very much for being here. Sparkle thanks you for being here. And until next time, if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and everything bright. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to do a countdown from 10, and hopefully this month I won't miss a number. I got distracted one month and did. So I'll be ending the stream in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, bye.